aus?
Ich weiß.
Aber du auch, ne? Oh, danke schön, ich weiß auch. Anyways, wir sind zurück mit Freak de la Freak TV. Jedenfalls haben wir heute die neuesten News, Moves, Sounds.
Und ein Interview.
Oh yes! Vergiss nicht zu subscriben,
Liken, Kommentar schreiben und
die Glocke. Viel Spaß! Hallo und herzlich willkommen zu meiner Zeit. Mein Name ist Genie und ich präsentiere euch die News de la Freak. Aus Afrika, der Diaspora und Deutschland. Let's go! Die Glasbläserei Kitengela Hot Glas ist die einzige Glasbläserei Ostafrikas. Und somit wurde sie zu einem wichtigen Tourismusziel in Kenia. Kenias traditionelle Küche wurde von der UNESCO zum immateriellen Weltkulturerbe anerkannt. Zum 30. Jubiläum hat die Jordan Brand eine Special Edition herausgebracht namens Afrobeat. Dieser Schuh kommt im Herbst 2022. I need to step up my sneaker game. Es gibt jetzt das erste afrodeutsche Startup-Pitch-Event namens Idea. Ihr könnt euch mit eurem Startup bewerben, wenn einer der Founder einen afro-diasporischen Hintergrund hat. So, meine Lieben, das war's von mir. Ich bin so froh, wenn ich diese Schuhe endlich ausziehen kann. Aber bevor ich das mache, will ich von euch natürlich, dass ihr die Glocke einschaltet. Bitte subscribt auch, schreibt, liked. Ihr wisst ganz genau, was wir wollen. Also viel Spaß mit den Sounds de la Freak. Das war von mir, eure Genie und bis bald.
Brothers and Sisters, YouTube Family, wir sind wieder zurück. Sounds de la Freak. Und wie immer an meiner Seite, DJ Innoss'B.
Yes, in the building.
Yes, sir.
Und mein Alpha Boy.
Yes, sir, ihr wisst Bescheid. Und heute haben wir für euch die Top 10 2022 Viral Tunes. Die heißesten Tunes, die in den letzten 3 Monaten rausgekommen sind. Oh, nun, heute wird's heiß.
Es wird richtig
Definitiv.
heiß.
Ich muss erst mal sagen, bevor wir weitermachen, dein Outfit.
Dankeschön.
Überragend.
Walk
Überragend.
on me, by the way. Walk on
Ey,
me.
definitiv. Ich sehe schon die Kommentare.
Was hast du denn an eigentlich?
Ey, ihr wisst Bescheid. Senegal, Afrikameister. Ey, und Freak de la Freak Crew war live dabei in Dakar. Wir sind gerade zurückgekommen.
Hautnah!
Deshalb, ihr seht, meine Bräune am Start.
Oh yes.
Aber
Aber
bevor
warte, wir haben noch jemand
anfangen,
anderes.
haben wir an den Decks
Uganda in the building!
Yes, sir. Heute wird nice. Top 10 2022 Viral Tunes, Sounds de la Freak. DJ Numi, Alpha Boy. Aber
Bevor wir anfangen,
like, subscribe.
like, subscribe, die Glocke nicht vergessen.
Nicht vergessen, definitiv. Glocke
ganz
muss immer
wichtig.
dabei sein, damit ihr immer updated seid, okay?
Genau. Sounds
Ey,
de la Freak, let's go!
viel Spaß. Und dann fangen wir auch schon an mit den Top 10 2022 Viral Tunes, all the way from Tansania.
Tansania.
Wen haben wir da?
Harmonize
Mwaka Wangu. Ey, der Tune ist heiß. Ihr wisst Bescheid.
East Africa.
Mulosema olewi mbona kaolewa, mulosema apewi mbona amepewa, kahuni wangu kutimiza ndoto zangu.
Das war Harmonize, Tansania.
Oh yes.
Der Tune ist so nice.
So nice.
Ey, aber lasst den Leuten wissen, jeden Tune, den wir ausgewählt haben, zu dem gibt es eine Dance Challenge. Taggt uns, Freak de la Freak Family, wir wollen euch sehen. Deshalb machen wir jetzt weiter.
Oh,
auf
yes.
der Nummer 9, ein nächster heißer Tune. Numi, sag den Leuten, was wir auf der Nummer 9 haben.
Straight from Kenya,
Kenya in the building.
X-Ray Taniwa, Trio Mio
Das stimmt.
und Saru
Ey,
mit dem Song Sing a Wing Wing.
Singer Wing Wing.
Sing a Wing
Hört sich einfach gut an.
Okay, bring
Drop
the
it.
Sing a Wing Wing.
Weshipulika na yako.
Let's go!
Napendeza kwangu.
Hey, come on!
Weshipulika na kwako.
Hey!
Misipangwingwi. Sipangwingwi. Misipangwingwi.
East Africa.
Africa.
Die kommen gerade mit den Tunes. Die
kommen
so
richtig.
nice. Aber jetzt, Numi, gehen wir all the way to the Ivory Coast. C'est bon ça.
Elfenbeinküste.
Wen
yes.
haben wir da?
Fior
to
Bior.
Mit Godo Godo. Lass ein bisschen aufdrehen. Der Tune geht ab.
Ich
Okay.
kann nicht mehr. Okay, bring
Leute,
it.
Mbambole de bébé, pas qui clair comme Davido. Mais moi il est si fort, non de godo godo pour la vie. Dans les godo godo pour la vie. Les godo godo pour la vie. Chérie qu'on connaît godo godo pour la vie. Toi ça fait pas godo, pas ta.
Ich will aus der Busse. Tune,
kann nicht mehr.
so nice. Jetzt kommen wir aber doch zu der Nummer 7. Und dann gehen wir nach Kongo.
Kongo.
Ey, und den haben wir Mr. Innoss'B. Der Tune heißt Motel 06. Ey, unser Französisch ist auf jeden Fall on point, aber falls nicht, lass einen Kommentar da.
Auf jeden Fall.
Ey,
Okay, Oliver.
Vas-y.
Bagriffe balobi, bobanela boulot. Inas, Jizo, Ulugaga magambo, lokole gomelio, supporte,
yes, diesen Tune haben wir auf jeden Fall gefühlt. Auf jeden
Aber richtig
Fall.
gefühlt.
Das
Aber
war
der nächste Tune.
auf der Nummer 6, wenn ich mich nicht irre.
Oh mein Gott.
Ey, ich weiß nicht, ob ihr den schon gesehen habt, aber ihr müsst ihn schon gesehen haben. Der ist auf jeden Fall viral gegangen mit einem sehr speziellen Video.
Oh yes.
Wer ihn nicht kennt, ey, Ghetto Kids
Ghetto Kids, die sind gerade richtig krass.
und bei der Künstlerin Spice Diana featuring DJ7, Tujoge. Ey,
Oh yes.
in dem Video, hast du den kleinen Jungen
Ich habe
gesehen?
hab
Hast
die
du ihn-
alle gesehen, das ist das Ding. Und deswegen ist dieser Song
du
auch
gesehen?
so viral gegangen.
Oh,
Deswegen drop
okay,
it.
let's go. Wir müssen den hören. Wir müssen ihn hören. Tag uns. Wir wollen euch sehen. Hey, Spice Diana, Uganda, the tune is so high. Ghetto Kids representing. Yes, we got so much love for you.
Oh,
Aber
yes.
jetzt auf der Nummer 5.
Auf der Nummer 5.
Hey, my sister.
I represent my country.
You know me. Who we got?
Black Sheriff.
Black Sheriff. Second Sermon. Der Bruder hat einfach zerrissen. Ihr kommt an ihn einfach nicht mehr vorbei. Deshalb hat der Bruder auch seinen Ritterschlag bekommen. Von dem African Giant himself.
Burna Boy. Burna Boy. Oh Gott. Egal. Wir waren auf dem... War da nicht was?
Ja, wie erwähnt, wir waren ja in Dakar. Und da war auch ein Burna Boy Konzert.
Oh ja.
Der Bruder hat zerrissen.
Der hat richtig zerrissen.
Deshalb werden wir jetzt auch zerreißen.
Aber sowas von.
Okay?
Sada me catch la una, dominati at home and it's banky. For village now so we dropping, it's main time to guide. Meaning power having, see I can be mommy oh, cause I really lose my way. And you say now you try.
Yes, Numi. Represent your
Oh yes. Ich bin
country.
total stolz.
So nice. Aber jetzt kommen wir zu der Nummer 4.
My neighbor's country.
Ey, wir haben die ganze Zeit aufgedreht, aber ich glaube, wir brauchen es jetzt ein bisschen ruhiger.
Wir müssen ein bisschen runterkommen.
gediegener.
Ja.
Smooth.
Oh ja. Lass uns
Madame, lass uns hinsetzen. Auf der Nummer 4 haben wir
Ricardo Banks.
Ricardo Banks. Bei den Tune kommt der einfach nicht mehr vorbei. Der wird überall gesehen. Überall gibt es die Dance Challenge.
Oh ja.
Wie heißt der Tune? Ich muss nur wissen, dass er richtig ausgesprochen wird.
Oh, und du denkst, ich kann das? Aber ich
Versuchen wir
probier's. Ozumba Mbondive.
Das hat sich sehr gut angehört.
Wenn es nicht richtig ausgesprochen ist, drop ein paar Kommentare hin und
Aber
wir kriegen das nicht
ich
mal
glaube,
hin,
du
oder?
hast es richtig
Hab ich?
ausgesprochen. Das hat sich sehr gut angehört. Okay, let us hear the tune.
I know them move that way. Don't make me move that way. Me, I know one sleep for highway. For you cross gas, lick
Nice, so nice. Wir wollen auf jeden Fall eure Dance Challenge sehen. Vergesst nicht, uns zu taggen.
Glocken.
Glocken, nicht vergessen. Jetzt wird's kritisch. Auf der Nummer 3. Wir haben die Giants themselves.
Die Giganten haben sich zusammengetan.
Burna
Wizkid
Boy?
und... Guck mal.
Wir
verstehen
vollenden
uns.
schon unsere Sätze. Burna Boy, Wizkid, Ballon d'Or. Daran kommt ihr einfach nicht mehr vorbei.
Nein.
Ey, Niger providing the tunes, Top 10. Viral tunes.
Nigeria.
Okay,
Einfach. Okay, bring it.
let's go.
And they move like a disco. One nick in my lolata. Happy pose, happy actor. So never take me ball under. Oh yeah, come take a picture.
Yes, das waren die Giants themselves.
Diese Giganten.
Burna Boy, Wizkid.
Oh yes.
An den Brüdern kommt man einfach nicht mehr vorbei. Wir müssten euch einfach diesen Tune geben. Aber jetzt kommen wir.
Apropos Gigant.
Gigant. Wir kommen zu Nummer
Nummer
2.
zwei.
Ey, der Tune wird überall gehört. Die Dance Challenges, vor denen könnt ihr euch nicht mehr verstecken. All the way from South
Okay, was ist los?
Ich weiß nicht, du auch?
Ja, irgendwas ist in der
Oh
Luft.
nein, irgendwas liegt in der Luft. Okay. Hilf uns.
DJ Curry.
Spiel mal ein bisschen. Ey, all the features.
Oh ja.
Zu viele. Trigger. Pop. Ey. ich glaube, ja, wir
besser?
sind nicht mehr krank. Mir geht's jetzt auf jeden
Mir geht's
Fall
auch sehr
besser.
gut. Nach dem Tune geht es allen sehr gut, oder?
Definitiv. Und jetzt sind wir tatsächlich auf der Nummer 1. Auf der Nummer 1. Wir reden über Top 10 Viral 2022. Der Tune.
Der darf nicht fehlen.
Nein.
Auf gar keinen
Du
Fall.
kommst daran nicht vorbei.
Oh nein.
Der ist überall.
Überall.
Jeder macht es. Jeder.
Chill
Ganz
with the
genau.
what? Was sagt er denn da nochmal?
Hey, you want to bamba? You want to chill with the big boys? You
wer
wanna...
ist der- du bist
Ihr
der
wisst
Big Boy
Bescheid.
oder was?
Ja, definitiv.
Ja, auf gar keinen Fall.
Was?
Du bist auf gar keinen Fall Big Boys.
Aber vielleicht
Small
jemand
boys.
in den Kommentaren. Ey,
Anyways,
das ist Bescheid.
bring
Nummer
it.
1,
Nigeria, by the
Nigeria.
way.
Who we got? Who we got?
Who we got? Goya Menor featuring Neck Tunes.
Oh,
Neck
oh, 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 oh.
Tunes.
I'm a piano remix. I'm a piano.
Hey, Goya Menor.
Nummer 1.
Menor.
It's the number 1.
Okay,
let's go.
DJ, give me na your crew, let me tell them how the thing goes.
Hey, we want to bamba?
You wanna chill with the big boys? Ey, das war unsere Nummer 1.
Verdiente Nummer 1.
Ey, bei dem Track kommt der einfach nicht mehr vorbei.
Gar keinen Fall.
Jeder macht diese Dance Challenge.
Das
waren
waren unsere Top 10 2022.
Viral Tunes. Warte. Okay, warum stresst du?
Fertig. Was ist denn los?
Was ist denn los?
Was ist denn?
Ja, Angola vergessen.
Ja, hä, was gibt's denn?
Welcher Tune denn?
Angola? Sag mir doch.
Tio.
Oh ja!
Wir
Strong
haben
J.
Strong J. Pankanda. Wie spricht man das aus?
Pancada.
Pankada. Oh, einfach,
Dann müssen wir den nochmal droppen. Oh, die hat recht.
Das war unsere Sounds de la Freak.
Yes, sir. Top 10 Viral Tunes 2022. Okay, represent your country. Let's go.
Subscribe, die Klingel nicht vergessen.
Seid Teil der Familie.
De la Freak, Innoss'B, Alphaboy,
Okay. Und 6.
Viel Spaß mit den...
Okay, komm.
So Guys, wir haben für euch heute ein etwas besonderes Mousse de la Figue für euch vorbereitet. Und zwar wollen wir die ganzen TikToker da draußen appreciaten. TikToker ist ja gerade voll am Kommen.
Yes.
Und zwar haben wir euch 3 TikToks für euch vorbereitet. Ein Berliner ist sogar dabei. Wer es genau ist, werden wir euch später sagen. Und dann haben wir aber auch noch, ja, wir finden, dass East Africa so kurz kommt. Hey. Deswegen haben wir euch ein paar kleine Specials zu Uganda und Kenia auch noch mitgebracht. Wir freuen uns. Wir legen jetzt erstmal los.
Aber warte. Bevor wir weitermachen, nicht vergessen, uns zu subscriben, ihr wisst, zu abonnieren und was? Die Glocke zu aktivieren. Ihr wisst Bescheid. So Leute, wir kommen zur ersten TikTok-Challenge, was viral gegangen ist.
Aber extrem.
Das war von Regina aus London. Where my London peoples? London?
Zu den Song Peru vom Fireboy. Okay, give us a tune. Give us a tune.
Something. E. Let's go. E.
I'm in San Francisco, Jammy. When you won't want me, I just flew in from Miami.
Falsche Choreo, aber egal. Let's go. Ey, die Chant war so nice,
die
ne?
war nice.
Aber die ging auch wirklich
Sogar
viral.
DJ hat gefühlt.
Ey, DJ. Die hat die Kurve
Ein bisschen
gefällt.
falsch, aber...
Aber ist okay.
Ja.
She fettet. Wir kommen auch schon zum nächsten. Dieser Song ist einfach, heftig.
Delicious.
Und zwar heißt der Song Emiliana und die Tänzerin heißt Sophia, ebenfalls aus London. Und wir zeigen euch genau jetzt in TikTok. Okay?
Drop it.
Drop the song.
All because of you, I be on the phone all night long. Don't be smart when you do it to me. Oh no. I be on my business, shawty. Baby on my mind, shawty. Let me pull on my honey, kiss me to the
Hey, diese heute So, diesmal kommen wir zu was ganz anderem. Es ist
komplett
diesmal
anderes.
keine TikTok-Challenge,
Nein, was ist es?
sondern wir wollen ein bisschen die Kenianer aus East Africa appreciaten und haben dazu den Jump Dance.
Kannst du den? Ich glaube, wir zeig
Also
dir lieber ein
jumpen kann
Video,
ich,
oder?
aber so wie ihre
ja.
Sister?
Nee, glaube ich auch nicht.
Aber dazu wird jetzt ein Video hier eingeblendet. Da könnt ihr gerne sehen, wie das aussieht.
Herr Frank.
Oh, aber siehst du, die springen aber richtig hoch.
Extrem. Let's try. Nein.
Ja, das
Hast du gut an?
Sieht auch gut
Nice. So, Guys, jetzt kommen wir auch schon zu unserem 4. Punkt. Und zwar geht es um die
Ghetto Boys oder Ghetto Kids.
Ghetto Kids.
Sorry.
Auf jeden Fall habt ihr von den Ghetto Kids schon bei ShopsyDoo was gehört. Und zwar gehen die gerade so heftig viral, besonders dieses eine Video.
Dieses
eine Video. Wir müssen euch nicht sagen, welcher Song es ist, okay? Mach einfach den Song.
Aber sollen wir
warte.
Wir versuchen einmal kurz versuchen, ob wir das... Nee, Luca, nein. Wir...
Okay. Warte, wir lassen Zeit. Wir blenden euch einfach das Video ein. Have fun.
So Leute, wir kommen auch schon zu der letzten Challenge, die viral gegangen ist auf TikTok. Und wenn ich sage viral, dann meine ich was? Viral! Genau. Und der Tänzer, der ist aus Berlin, also sind wir auch richtig proud. We are proud.
Und zwar findet ihr ihn auf TikTok und auf Instagram unter dem Namen Cool Kid Nelly. Wir kennen ihn unter Nelsos. Herzlichen Glückwunsch, Nelsos. Diese Challenge ist so viral gegangen, dass selbst der Sänger diese Challenge gelernt hat und gepostet hat. Es geht um Teig mit dem Song Dodo. Okay? Give us a tune. Thank you.
Ce soir pas de dodo. Dodo. Ce soir pas de dodo.
Nessus!
Herzlichen Glückwunsch!
Diese Choreo hat gut geschmeckt.
Aber wie? Leute, wir sind leider schon zum Ende angekommen. Wir haben
leider.
wie immer noch kleine Randnotizen für euch, und zwar Christoph.
Wir haben euch die ganzen TikTok-Challenges gezeigt. Ihr könnt sie gerne nachmachen. Und nicht vergessen zu liken, sharen und die Glocke zu aktivieren.
Vielen Dank und
Vielen
bis
Dank.
bald.
Yes, my brother, welcome to Cultures de la Freak, and thank you so much for being part of this program. Let's get started with the first question. What makes the UK Afrobeat scene so unique? And explain your particular role in it.
Thanks for the question, bro. First of all, the UK is a very interesting place in the sense that there's a variety of Africans here, not predominantly Nigerians. You have everybody from West Africa, East Africa, South Africa, even North Africa is fully represented here in the UK. And what has happened over the last 15 years is that the different African countries have found a way to celebrate their identities. I think it kicked off with the independence celebrations. You have Kenya independence, Ghanaian independence, Nigerian independence, Cameroon, Ivory Coast, the list goes on and on. Enter the early 2000s. We started to have a Pan-African sense of hit music, which I believe was kicked off from the Congolese, from Awilo Lugomba, and then, the Magic System. They became universal African songs that people not only heard within the Congolese or the Ivorian community, but also celebrated in Nigeria, in Ghana. If you come to a Nigerian wedding and party, those songs became fan favorites. Now, from that came another Pan-African hit in African Queen by Two-Face Idibia. Now, the big problem was we never had platforms like media platforms, radio and television, that promoted African music to the UK audience, be it Africans in the UK or just anybody generally. So slowly we started to get pirate radio stations, and that's where I came in. I jumped on a pirate radio station in the early 2000s, around 2004, just playing, Nigerian and African music to a selective audience in Peckham that was largely predominantly African, Nigerian, and Ghanaian. And from that, I think the steps started to grow where we had a lot of people listening to cross music from different countries. And then the artists that we're listening to now started to get more visas to come into the UK. And it became the first stop for Africans coming into Europe before transcending into other parts of Europe. And I think that in itself was what started to become that, that viral or springboard for the music to really start being taken in the community. But I think it all started from the little pockets of communities into pirate and community radio stations that then now moved into mainstream media and made African and Afrobeats culture a main culture here in the UK.
Particularly in the Afrobeat scene. Everybody knows you as Adesope, ShopsyDoo, aka the Energy God. What had ignited your passion and drive to become part of the Afropop scene? And how does the UK scene distinguish itself from others across Europe and across the world?
For me, I just think my thirst to represent my culture and to be confident in my identity was one of the reasons. I was playing music on a pirate radio station in Peckham for myself mainly, not really thinking about other people listening. I just wanted to find a place where I can play the music that I love, that represented my culture, and it so happened to be on a radio station where other people were listening to. And I think at that time, it was very, very difficult to be African in the UK. It was something that people looked down upon, people made fun of, and a lot of Africans actually identified themselves as Jamaicans, as Americans. So for me, I think my thirst to be confident and comfortable with who I am, represent my culture, celebrate my music and my people was what really drove me. And I say to a lot of people that we did it at a time where there was no future in it. Nobody thought it was going to be lucrative, it was going to be a career, a business, could make money from it. So the only reason most of us were doing what we're doing was just to feed our soul and be confident in who we are. And for me, I think that was mainly it. Going back to your second question about what makes the UK, stand out, I think the UK is in a unique position in the sense that it's a melting pot of a host of Black culture, not only African, Caribbean. And the UK as well, if you look historically, the British Empire colonized in Africa, colonized, in the Caribbean. They were essential to the slave trade and spreading of Black people around the world. So when it came to also, abolishing slave trade and starting to work on inclusivity and bringing people together, I think the UK has gone ahead of a lot of countries around Europe, especially in Europe, to be that place that brings people together and tries to celebrate the Black culture more than others because they were a part of those that took advantage of it. Now, what that does is that it allows a lot more creativity within the African community, within the Black community. Now, under the Black community, obviously, is Africa and Afrobeats. Because this is a hub for a lot of Black people and African people, the UK started to invest a little bit more money in allowing the Black community to celebrate itself. So, second generation Africans who have now been born and raised here at a time when your Two-Face, P-Square, Willow Logombas, and now Wizkid became superstars. Rather than follow the Black British heritage alone to say I'm British, they're feeling a lot more confident about their African heritage. And with that, instead of using their creative juices to create music and opportunities that would have only been seen as British, they're using that to tap into their heritage and connecting both their British and their African heritage together. So you're getting the likes of Kojo Funds, now your Skeptors, your Notes, those that would be just classed as Black British, they're adding the African essence to their music and identifying, in most cases, like the NSGs of this world, as Afrobeats artists. With that, they have teamed up with Africans from back home, your Wizkids, Burna Boys, Davidos, and co., and Africans in the UK to drive the Afrobeats, Afro-pop culture agenda. And I think that is one benefit that the UK really has that distinguishes itself apart from France or Germany.
Wow, this is really fascinating to hear. Now, let's dive a little bit deeper. Why do you think Afrobeats is such a commercially successful genre in the UK right now, and particularly becoming such a global phenomenon? And furthermore, would you say that Afrobeats and its influence on the Afro-pop culture can be considered as the emergence of the new African Renaissance?
One of the reasons why, first of all, Afrobeats is successful in the UK is the UK has always been a major point when it comes to pop music and pop culture. When hip-hop was really transcending into Europe, one of the first places that they really benefited was in the UK because it's English speaking as well. So that culture immediately had, they could resonate here in the UK. Pop, dance, all of those genres, including reggae and dancehall, all of those genres instantly had a direct connection with the UK because of the simple fact that most of it were English speaking. And second of all, like the dancehall and reggae, there was a lot of Caribbeans here having come from the time when the UK needed help and sent for help in the West Indies for people to come here and develop the country after the war. So there was a strong Caribbean connection here. So straight off the back, the UK, when it comes to assimilating new genres of music, has a great history of doing that. And that goes back a long time to jazz, your James Brown, and the list goes on. They have very, very strong roots here in the UK. So what we've had with Afrobeats here in the UK is a lot of our biggest superstars, from your Davidos, your Wizkids, your Burna Boys, and Tiwa Savages, they've collaborated with some of the biggest stars in the UK. From Stormzy to Ed Sheeran to Tiny Temper to Skepta. These are artists to gigs. These are artists that are already enjoying chart success in the UK. So when African superstars collaborate with stars that are enjoying chart success already, what happens? There's a bigger spotlight on them and they replicate that success. Might not be as big as, your Stormzys or Skeptas or whatever they're doing, but that audience also moves to the African artists and look at them. I know people right now that became Afrobeats fans after Drake and Wizkid collaborated. And imagine that times 20. And again, you have to give massive credit to the huge African community here. We should turn up and show up. Wizkid's first 5,000 capacity show was in 2011. Sold out 5,000. And he replicated that exactly 12 months after. Yes, it's taking time for us to get to 20,000, which we did in 2018. But look at the historic feat that happened in 2021. 3 nights back to back at 20,000 capacity. That is work. For Wizkid, that's 11 years work. And for Afrobeats and Afro-pop culture, that's over 20 years work in the UK. And collaborations has to play a massive, massive part in that.
Amazing. Now you have touched on identity. Compared to back in the days where people with African backgrounds did not embrace their heritage, and even went so far pretending to be American or even Jamaican. Therefore, would you say that the impact of Afrobeats on Afro-pop culture contributes to the restoring of African pride and identity?
1000%. I had an opportunity to speak at the Parliament, the British Parliament here, for a select committee of members of Parliament on foreign affairs. And the topic was Afrobeats is now it's almost an identity for Africans. Because of Afrobeats music and African popular culture, nowadays, my 8-year-old son went to school to tell them that his dad knows Wizkid. And he had to go and prove it by coming home and asking for a picture. That's 8 years old already being proud of his African roots. Because of the music, because of the dance, because of the fashion, the food, Afrobeats and Afro-pop culture has now become the reason why Africa is winning. You know, we all know that Ghana, Nigeria has been the hub every Christmas now, not only for Africans going back home, but also for international celebrities and African Americans and Caribbeans that want to get that touch of home. It is because of Afrobeats and your Davidos and Wizkids of this world getting into rooms that a lot of people never expected Africans to look, speak, talk, or act like. So I am personally attributing the success of the music to how positive Africa is being looked at today. So I completely agree with you. That is the new renaissance of Africa.
With Afrobeats and Afropop culture being such a continuous growing global phenomenon, many global superstars are jumping on Afrobeat songs. For example, Beyonce, you've mentioned Drake, before that Chris Brown, now Ed Sheeran, and even Elton John knows about Afrobeats. With this great evolution of the genre, it is crucial to pay respect to the OGs who have paved the way. Therefore, my question is, who were the most instrumental artists in having established the genre internationally?
I think authentically we cannot speak about Afrobeats without speaking about Afrobeat. Afrobeat was created by the legendary Fela Kuti. Fela Kuti's creation of the African sound was what led to what everybody is doing now, especially from the West African side. And Fela's also relationship with the United Kingdom dates back decades. He studied in the UK. He worked with your Paul McCartneys and all of these guys. He worked with your James Browns and all of these guys early on back in the 70s and the 60s. His tours and performances in United Kingdom and Europe and America are legendary till tomorrow. People like Fela Kuti, people like Daddy Lumba, people like Awilo Logomba, people like Kofi Olomide. For me, I think those are the timelines of the different African sounds that started to change things and open little doors for us in the UK for people to go through. Like I said, 90s into the early 2000s, without the success of Awilo Logomba and Magic System, a lot of people will not be listening to African music. And that's facts. So for me, you have to mention Fela Kuti, you have to mention your Daddy Lumbas, and then you have to touch on Awilo Logomba and Magic System before we come into this generation.
I personally got the feeling as if almost every week a brand new Afrobeat star is emerging onto the scene. My question is, why is the UK market so essential for artists to establish themselves?
Because of one thing. The UK is the only place outside of Africa that has the amount of media platforms supporting African pop culture that it does. We have radio, we have TV, we have, all these other platforms online. We also have concert venues that are comfortable with African artists performing on main stages. So For now, any African artist that's into African pop music, Afro beats, amapiano, whatever it is, it only makes sense to go into a market that already has a structure that can propel your music to the rest of Europe and to the rest of the world. The radio stations in London alone that plays Afrobeats music are more than 10. Official radio stations, television, cable stations that promote African pop culture, from movies to music videos in London on cable will be at least 5, if not more. So that in itself is, an access that everybody has to run for. Anywhere else in Europe, it's going to be difficult to have that many concentrated platforms that can promote your art.
Yes, Adesope, I really enjoyed this interview and I could talk to you forever. But unfortunately, we have to come to an end. Now, my last question is this. Where do you see the future of Afrobeats and Afropop culture? And what are your personal goals and wishes for the Afro music scene?
The future of Afrobeats and Afropop culture is extremely bright. I believe that African popular culture will become a full and bona fide member of the pop culture, hip hop, pop, Caribbean culture, and will be there forever. I think there's no doubt that the dance, the music, and the food will become, jollof rice is a staple meal now. Afro dance has gone into health and fitness now, and everybody wants to be a part of that. The fashion, the music, it's going to be ridiculous. I think the evolution of the African sound will keep us relevant forever, because we're having not only Africans that are born outside of Africa, but we are also having friends of Africa that want to be a part of the culture. You could be German, American, United Kingdom. If you're involved and inspired by our culture, welcome. And come and join it. As long as you pay respect and homage, we're happy, just the same way we do with dancehall and reggae and other forms of genres around the world. So I believe that will be a mainstay going forward, and we're going to see a lot more chart success in the UK, in America, because of the cross collaboration and pollination. And my personal goals are this. It's been the same from the moment I met Aziz, who is part of the Freak team and one of the henchos there in Germany, is to ensure that our brothers and sisters in other markets, especially in Europe, enjoy some of the stuff that we're enjoying in the UK and feel just as proud of their heritage as we do now in the UK. So I want to see more collaborations, not only in Africa, but as well in Europe and America, of those that are promoting the African culture, to be able to take this thing to the next level and make it an official business and career that people can live on without having to do other jobs and do other things. I want to see a situation where in Europe, if they ask you what you're involved in, you say Afro beats and African pop culture, is good enough for people to see you driving flashy cars and not think that you're doing other things as part of it. So those are my goals and aspirations.
Das war gut, das war gut, oder?
Nicht vergessen.
Oh ja, also wir haben ein DJ-Set für euch.
Also liken, subscribe,
Kommentiert, folgt
abonnieren,
uns.
einfach.
Und wir sehen uns bei der nächsten Folge.